Okay, so in this part of the lesson, we're basically dealing with connected persons. So we've determined that this connected person relationship is actually transacting within a transaction that has vertical implications. So that's the only time that special rules can be applied if you are dealing with a vertical transaction pertaining to the the relationship or the scenario that you're dealing with. In this instance, we're dealing with connected persons. So we've determined that it's a vertical transaction within these connected persons. So therefore, that's when you can apply special rules. And special rules, we said, that actually assisting us with the question of saying what is the time of supply and what is the actual value of supply. So on this side, we've got time of supply. So the first point of time of supply would be if we're dealing with goods that can be removed. Or moved rather, let's rather say moved. Goods that can be moved. So when is the time of supply for such goods? The time of supply for such goods is when the goods are moved. When goods are moved. Right. The second part is for other goods. When would the time of supply for other goods be? Time of supply for other goods would be when the goods are made available. And the last one would be for services. Time would be when services are rendered. And that sums up the question of time of supply. When goods are moved, when goods are actually made available, or when services are rendered. That makes it, that concludes with the time of supply. As to the value of supply, what would deem the actual transaction to say that we've got a value of supply now? There needs to be certain instances that are prevalent for value to be established. The first one would be one. We've established that there's a connected person relationship. 2, we've established that consideration is non-existent. There's no consideration. No consideration, 0. Or consideration is at less than market value. So consideration is at less than market value. It's an AND test, by the way. It's either there's no consideration or consideration is at less than market value. And 3, the buyer would not have been entitled to a full input tax deduction. It's a bit of a funny one, but what we're basically saying is that the buyer would have likely have been transacting with exempt supplies in his business, or denied supplies, right? Or even zero-rated supplies, but I'll try to be cautious with zero-rated here. But the focus should be let's rather get rid of zero rated, but it could be, I would imagine. But anyway, we're looking out for exempt supplies and denied supplies here, basically. That's likely the situation that the buyer would have been in. So it's a requirement which is basically in the negative. And we'll get into more detail as to why it is there. You know, because like you'd obviously be wondering, why would there be such a rule for buyer to have not been able to claim full input tax deduction? There's a reason for that, because SARS at the end of the day, he wants to maximize on his tax, and that's basically just a hint in telling you as to why this principle would be there. And we'll likely go into more detail about just basically painting a bit of a picture, just to try and elaborate in a bit more of like us having to understand a bit more in terms of this principle. Alright.